The snow had not yet melted from the fields when the farmer found him, half buried beneath the old elm, his breath barely misting the bitter air. The crows had already circled twice, waiting for death to finish its work. But the farmer, a quiet man with rough hands and a widow's silence in his eyes, saw more than a dying body. He saw a boy not much older than his own had been once. He hoisted him gently across his shoulders, like lifting the past from the soil. The farmhouse creaked as the wind spoke through broken slats, and the kettle cried softly over the fire. Inside, the soldier's coat was stiff with frozen blood, his face bruised with secrets. No name, no words. Just a coin stitched inside the lining of his collar and a map inked in panic. The farmer's wife had died 3 winters before. Since then, the house had forgotten the sound of another's breath. But now, each cough in the dark, each fevered whisper from the soldier's sleep, brought life and danger in equal measure. Outside, the frost refused to lift, and in the stillness, the farmer wondered, had he sheltered mercy or summoned ruin? On the 4th morning, the soldier awoke. His eyes, clouded with pain, scanned the beams above him, as if remembering a dream he had not asked to wake from. He spoke no name, only gratitude with a voice like gravel and sorrow. The farmer fed him broth, mended his wounds, and asked no questions. That was the way of men who had buried too much. But when the soldier finally slept without shaking, the farmer searched his coat again. Beneath a second seam, behind the faded sigil of a kingdom long disgraced, he found it. A letter. Folded tight, charred at the corners. Inside, a name inked in hurried strokes, and the seal of the marshal's command. It was a warrant, and the face drawn in charcoal shadows was the one now sleeping beneath his roof. The farmer stood by the hearth as night fell, holding the letter to the fire, watching the edges curl like leaves in drought. His hand trembled, not from fear, but from recognition. He had seen that seal once before, years ago, before the war made orphans of every law. He did not burn it. Not yet. Some truths deserve to wait, he thought. Some judgment belongs only to God and winter. Days passed. The soldier's strength returned in slow, reluctant breaths. He limped through the orchard, always watching the sky, as if expecting wings or justice. He never asked where he was, nor offered where he'd been. The farmer watched from the woodpile. He saw the way the young man winced at every crack of firewood, how he flinched at dogs barking in the valley below. War left no man whole, but this one carried something worse. The shame of survival. Over bread and salted meat, they spoke of crops, of weather, of nothing that mattered. But in their silence, stories bloomed. The soldier touched the carved spoon with reverence. The farmer poured tea like a ritual. One night, the soldier sat by the hearth and whispered, "They burned the convent at Velen?" "I was there." The farmer did not answer. He remembered that smoke, black columns rising past the hills, past hope. He remembered the nuns in the snow, but still, he offered no name. And the soldier asked for no forgiveness, only sleep. Only the quiet grace of being left alone by the world. The snow thawed early that year, bleeding into the furrows, revealing the bones of frost-killed crops. On the 6th week, a rider came. His cloak bore no colors, but the farmer knew his kind. Upright, polished, boots too clean for this soil. The rider asked about fugitives, deserters, men with burned hands and southern accents. He smiled as he spoke, like a wolf remembering a meal. The farmer lied once, then again, until the lies became his breath. That night, he found the soldier crouched behind the woodshed, his eyes wide, his body coiled like a hunted animal. The war had not ended for him. It simply moved indoors. "You should have run," the farmer said. The soldier replied, "I've run too long. If they find me, let them." But the farmer didn't sleep that night. He sharpened the scythe he no longer used and buried the warrant deeper beneath the floorboards. Not because he believed the man was innocent, but because somewhere, someone still believed he was worth killing. One morning, the soldier left a bundle on the table: bread, dried meat, and the broken rosary he had worn around his neck. The farmer followed the tracks in the frost. He found the soldier sitting by the river, boots off, legs in the water, as if cleansing something no one could see. The soldier said, "I killed a priest once. He tried to stop the burning. I thought I was following orders, but his last words weren't curses. He said, 'Tell the children I stayed.'" He handed the farmer the last page of the warrant. On it, a list of names. The final one, a child's. "I didn't mean to be saved," the soldier whispered. "I just meant to disappear." The wind stirred, gentle and cruel. The farmer said nothing, but he sat beside him, boots in the cold water too, and watched the current carry their silence downstream. They always find out. A child with quick eyes saw the soldier from a hayloft. A merchant recognized the limp. By dusk, the whispers came. The villagers remembered the soldier's regiment, remembered the flames across the valley, the widows it carved. They came with torches, not yet lit, but hot in their grip. The farmer stood at his gate alone. He did not ask them to leave. He only asked if they remembered the girl who once stitched wounds in the barn, or the boy he buried after the first frost. "The world has punished enough," he said. "Let him breathe." But hatred is older than justice, and quieter. They left, but not all of them were gone. That night the soldier said, "I'll go." But the farmer replied, "And do what? Be hunted again? We bury things here. And sometimes they grow back different." At spring's edge, the soldier carved a fence for the orchard. His hands, once burned from holding torches, now held wood like prayer. The farmer's neighbor, the widow in the red shawl, came one evening. She brought apples and a look that didn't blink. She had lost 2 sons in the Velen burning. She knew, but she handed the soldier the apples anyway. "The past is heavier than the grave," she said. "Don't carry it alone." And then she asked the farmer if the earth beneath the old oak still bloomed in spring. He nodded. That night, they buried the warrant there, deep beneath roots tangled in old sins. No cross, no marker. Just a silence that forgave neither of them, but allowed them to keep breathing. By the time summer came, the soldier no longer looked behind him. He spoke with the boy from the mill. He smiled at the dogs. The farmer let the orchard grow wild that year. The branches hung low, offering shade to ghosts and men alike. When a stranger passed through, another soldier, another war, the farmer asked no questions, but the soldier did. "Do you believe people change?" The farmer looked out at the orchard. "No," he said, "but I believe some forget how to hate. That's almost the same." And though the village remembered the fire, they also remembered the fence, and how it had been rebuilt by a man with burned hands and a broken rosary. Years passed. The war became memory, then myth. Children played in the orchard, unaware of the roots beneath them. The farmer died one winter, quiet as a breath. The soldier buried him beneath the elm. He placed no stone, just a piece of the warrant, folded once, pressed flat by time. He stayed, became the orchard's keeper. The village never fully forgave, but they forgot enough. And when the priest's niece came through, looking for names among the dead, he gave her tea and said, "There's nothing left but seeds. In the snow's hush, even sins begin to soften." The last chapter was never written, only lived. The house, once broken by silence, became a place of bread, of warmth, of quiet forgiveness. The soldier grew old, but never left. Children called him Uncle. The orchard bloomed longer than it should have. And every spring, the elm tree blossomed white, though no one remembered planting it. Somewhere far beyond the valley, the marshal died, his orders forgotten, his war erased, and though the soldier never confessed fully, he never ran again. Sometimes kindness isn't earned, only accepted. And sometimes a man lives long enough to become his own apology.